2 months into their journey, the UES Harmony barely resembled the ship that had left Kepler's Rest. Mina stood in what used to be the main engineering bay, watching streams of liquid metal flow through transparent tubes that hadn't existed when they departed Earth. "Power output is now 400% above original specifications," she reported to Captain Dongwu over the comm. Her voice carried amazement even after weeks of constant breakthroughs. "The fusion reactors aren't even our primary power source anymore." The zero-point energy taps they had reverse-engineered from the alien sabotage devices now provided most of the ship's power. The technology pulled energy directly from the quantum foam of space itself. Mina's team had not only figured out how the alien devices worked, they had improved them. Human engineering had made the impossible technology twice as efficient. Taiho Jiang wiped his hands on a rag that seemed to clean itself. Even the simple tools on the ship had been upgraded with alien principles. "The hull modifications are complete, on sections 12 through 18, he announced. "The living metal is responding perfectly to our commands. The ship's hull could now reshape itself." What started as reverse engineering sabotage devices had led to the discovery that alien technology used programmable matter. The hull could seal breaches instantly, optimize its shape for different flight conditions, and even grow new sections when needed. The Harmony was becoming a living machine. On the bridge, Jae-Sung Lee stared at navigation displays that would have seemed like magic to human scientists just months before. "Captain, I've completed the probability navigation system. We can now plot courses through quantum uncertainty itself." "Explain that in simple terms," Dongwu requested, though he had grown used to his crew describing impossible things as if they were ordinary. "Space isn't really empty," Jae-Sung said, manipulating a three-dimensional star map that showed probability clouds around each celestial body. "It's full of quantum possibilities. Most ships navigate around these uncertainties. We can navigate through them, taking shortcuts that exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously." The navigation sabotage devices had been designed to corrupt human positioning data. Instead, Jae-Sung had learned to read the alien quantum positioning language. Human mathematics combined with alien algorithms had created something entirely new. They could now travel faster than light with precision that defied physics textbooks. In her science lab, Hyojin Choi monitored sensor displays that could detect events happening light years away in real time. "I'm picking up subspace communications from 17 different species," she announced during the daily briefing. "Also gravitational anomalies near the Rigel system, and what appears to be temporal distortions around a neutron star in Sector 7. Her team had transformed the sabotage devices meant to blind their sensors into the most advanced detection system in the galaxy. Bora Kang and Wu Jin. Oh worked alongside her, developing new applications for technology that could see through dimensions, detect quantum fluctuations, and even predict future events based on probability mathematics. The sensors are showing us things that haven't happened yet, Bora reported with scientific excitement. "We're seeing potential futures based on current galactic conditions." "Time isn't as fixed as we thought," Wu Jin added. "The alien technology reveals that causality has flexibility. We can see the ripple effects of events before they happen." In the communication center, Kyung-Soo Shin had accomplished something that shocked even him. "Captain, I've cracked the alien communication network. All of it." "All of it?" Dongwu asked. "Every species, every fleet, every station in this part of the galaxy." "The sabotage devices weren't just sending our data to the Vrex. They were part of a massive surveillance network that spans thousands of worlds. I've learned to read their quantum encryption, and now I can listen to anyone talking anywhere." Kyung-Soo had discovered that language itself was based on mathematical principles. Alien communication devices used universal translation matrices that could decode any language by analyzing its mathematical structure. He had not only cracked this system, he had improved it to work with concepts that had no words in any known language. "I can now translate thoughts that beings think but cannot express," he explained. "Emotions that have no names. Concepts that exist between the spaces of normal language. We can truly understand alien species in ways they don't even understand themselves." Medical Officer Yun-hee Nam made discoveries that frightened and excited her in equal measure. "The alien technology is changing us. she reported during her weekly medical briefing. Exposure to certain quantum frequencies is enhancing human cognitive function and reaction times. Changing us how? Dongwu asked with concern. Making us better, smarter, faster. The crew's average intelligence has increased by 30% over the past month. Reaction times have improved by 40%. Most remarkably, we're beginning to think in ways that were previously impossible. She showed brain scans comparing the crew from departure to their current state. The neural patterns had evolved, creating new connections and pathways. We're becoming something more than baseline human, not alien, but enhanced human. The technology is unlocking potential that was always there but never activated. The changes weren't just individual. The entire crew had begun working together with unprecedented coordination. Ideas flowed between departments as if they shared a collective consciousness. Engineering insights sparked navigation breakthroughs that led to scientific discoveries that improved communication capabilities. We're not just learning alien technology, Sun Jayun observed during a team meeting. We're creating hybrid technology that's better than anything humans or aliens have built separately. The harmony had become a synthesis of human creativity and alien engineering. Systems that should have been incompatible worked together perfectly. The ship could now do things that violated the known laws of physics, powered by energy sources that existed in theoretical mathematics, guided by navigation that worked through multiple dimensions simultaneously. Captain Dongwu walked through his transformed ship, marveling at what his crew had accomplished. The corridors now pulsed with living light. The walls responded to touch and thought. The very air seemed to hum with potential energy. This wasn't the same vessel that had left Earth. It was something new, something unprecedented. Captain, Mina called over the enhanced communication system that could now transmit thoughts directly. We're receiving signals from the Vrek surveillance network. They're talking about us. What are they saying? They're confused, terrified. The human ship that was supposed to die weeks ago is not only still functional, it's displaying capabilities that shouldn't exist. Some of them think we've been replaced by shape-shifting aliens. Others believe we've discovered ancient precursor technology. Dongwu smiled grimly. They have no idea what we've actually discovered. What's that, sir? We've discovered what happens when human stubbornness meets alien technology. We don't just adapt to new circumstances, we improve them. The Vrexi had intended to eliminate humanity's threat to their technological supremacy. Instead, they had created something far more dangerous to their established order. A human ship that had transcended the limitations of both human and alien engineering. A crew that had evolved beyond the boundaries of their species while remaining essentially human. The saboteurs had created their worst nightmare. A humanity that was no longer bound by the rules of galactic civilization. Captain Dongwu stood on the bridge of the transformed Harmony, studying the tactical display that showed the location of every Vrek ship within 50 light-years. The alien surveillance network that was, supposed to track humanity's death had become humanity's greatest intelligence asset. We have a choice, he announced to his senior staff gathered around the holographic star map. We can continue to the consortium meeting and report what happened to us. Or we can deal with our saboteurs directly. Mina Park crossed her arms, her expression determined. They tried to murder 47 humans. They sabotaged a diplomatic mission that could have prevented wars. I vote we pay them a visit. Agreed, said Hyojin Choi, pointing to sensor readings that showed Vrex fleet movements. My analysis suggests they're preparing to sabotage other species as well. 3 mollusk consortium ships have gone missing this month. 2 crystalline Empire vessels reported system failures before losing contact. Jae-Sung Lee manipulated the navigation display, showing impossible flight paths through folded space. I can get us to their main fleet in 6 hours using probability navigation. They'll never see us coming through normal space. Kyung-Soo Shin smiled grimly as alien communications filled his screens. They're completely unaware that we've cracked their network. I'm listening to their battle plans in real time. They think we're dead. The vote was unanimous. The crew of the Harmony had spent 2 months turning sabotage into advancement. Now it was time to show their saboteurs what human problem-solving really looked like. One rule, Dongwu said as they prepared for departure. We're not starting a war. We're ending one. These beings think humans are weak because they've never seen us angry. Let's change their minds. The Harmony slipped through quantum space like a ghost. Jae-sung's probability navigation allowed them to arrive at coordinates where the Vrex fleet might be, rather than where it actually was. From the aliens' perspective, the human ship simply materialized out of nowhere. Vrex command ship detected, Hyojin announced. It's a massive vessel, probably 3 times our size. I'm reading weapon systems that could vaporize planets. Perfect, Dongwoo said calmly. Mina, begin the upgrade. What happened next would be talked about in alien bars for centuries. The Harmony approached the Vrex command ship not with weapons blazing, but with engineering drones deploying. Microscopic robots created from reverse-engineered alien technology swarmed across the enemy vessel's hull. What are they doing? Demanded Vrex Fleet Commander Zektar from the bridge of his flagship. His compound eyes reflected the strange lights coming from the human ship. Unknown, Commander, replied his tactical officer. The human vessel appears to be attaching devices to our hull. Weapons? Negative. They appear to be maintenance equipment? Mina watched her screens as the engineering drones went to work. Hull modifications complete, she announced. Power system enhancements installed. Weapon efficiency improvements activated. The Vrex crew watched in confusion as their ship's systems began improving. Power output increased by 20%. Weapon targeting became more accurate. Shield strength doubled. Life support became more efficient. Even the artificial gravity felt more stable. Commander, the tactical officer reported with bewilderment. All systems are operating at peak efficiency. Our weapons are more powerful than they've ever been. Our shields are impenetrable. It's as if someone has given us the perfect refit. Zektar stared at the human ship, which was already moving toward the next vessel in his fleet. Are they helping us? Soon Ja-yoon coordinated the upgrade process from the engineering bay. Target 2 complete. Their weapons are now 40% more efficient. And I've installed redundant life support systems. They're safer than they've ever been. Target 3 shows some interesting damage, Tae-ho Jang reported. Looks like they took fire from pirates recently. I'm repairing the hull breaches and upgrading their armor. Ship after ship in the Vrex fleet received the same treatment. The aliens watched in growing amazement as their vessels became more capable than they had ever imagined possible. Weapons that had been adequate became devastating. Engines that had been reliable became incredibly efficient. Life support systems that had been functional became luxurious, but the psychological effect was even more profound than the technological improvements. This is wrong, muttered Vrex, Engineer Prime Kaxmir as he watched. His engine efficiency ratings climbed to impossible levels. Enemies don't upgrade your ship. They destroy it. Maybe they're not enemies, suggested his assistant. They have to be enemies. We sabotaged them. We tried to kill them. But they're making us stronger instead of destroying us. Kyung-soo monitored the alien communications as confusion spread through the fleet. Vrex crews were beginning to question everything they had been told about humans. Some wondered if the sabotage orders had been legitimate. Others started to think their own command structure was testing them with impossible scenarios. Fleet morale is collapsing, he reported to Dongwoo. Half of them think this is a loyalty test. The other half think we're some kind of benevolent gods. None of them understand why we're helping them. Good, Dongwoo replied. Fear is temporary. Confusion lasts longer, but gratitude changes minds permanently. The Harmony moved through the fleet like a benevolent ghost. Every ship they touched became better. Crew quarters became more comfortable. Food systems became more nutritious. Even entertainment systems were upgraded with better holographic projectors. Hyojin detected something interesting on her enhanced sensors. Captain, I'm reading stress patterns in the alien crew members. Their confusion is causing them to reevaluate their beliefs about humans and about their own mission. Some of them are starting to feel guilty, Yoon-hee added from her medical station. The biosignatures suggest emotional conflict between duty and gratitude. Bora Kang made a discovery that changed everything. Captain, the Vrex fleet isn't alone. I'm detecting cloaked ships from 6 other species. This isn't just about sabotaging humans. They're running a massive operation to control galactic technology development. Wu Jin-oh confirmed the finding. The surveillance network we cracked isn't just monitoring. It's coordinating. The Vrex are sabotaging any species that develops technology they consider threatening. How many species have they eliminated? Dongwoo asked grimly. At least a dozen in the past century, Hyojin replied after analyzing the data. Entire civilizations labeled as technological accidents when their ships mysteriously failed in deep space. The truth hit the crew like a physical blow. They weren't just victims of sabotage. They were the latest targets in a centuries-long campaign of technological genocide. New plan, Dongwu announced. We're not just upgrading the Vrex fleet. We're exposing the entire operation. Every ship, every species, every hidden conspiracy. Mina grinned with anticipation. Time to show the galaxy what human-style sabotage really looks like. The Harmony began broadcasting on all frequencies, using Kyungsu's universal translation matrix. The message was simple but devastating. Complete technical specifications for every upgrade they had given to the Vrex fleet, along with proof of the centuries-long sabotage conspiracy. Within hours, every spacefaring species in the galaxy would know that humans responded to sabotage by making things better, and they would know that the Vrex had been murdering civilizations for technological supremacy. The hunt was no longer about revenge. It was about revolution. 3 days into the void between stars, Mina Park was running her morning diagnostics when something caught her eye. The numbers were wrong. Not catastrophically wrong, but wrong enough to make her frown at her screens. That's odd, she muttered, pulling up the power distribution charts. The fusion reactors were running at 94% efficiency instead of their usual 96%. Small difference, but Mina had built these reactors herself. She knew every vibration, every power curve, every tiny variation in their operation. She dug deeper into the diagnostic data. The navigation system was using 3% more power than normal. Life support was drawing an extra 0.5%. Communication arrays were pulling power in patterns she didn't recognize. Each individual change was tiny, barely noticeable. Together they painted a picture that made Mina's heart race. Captain to engineering, she called over the comm. Could you come down here? I need to show you something. Dongwu arrived 10 minutes later, followed by Hyojin and Jae-sung. Mina had pulled up holographic displays showing power flows throughout the ship. Red lines traced energy paths that shouldn't exist. We're being drained, Mina said without introduction. Something is pulling power from our systems. Small amounts, but it's happening everywhere. System malfunction? Dongwu asked, though his expression suggested he already suspected otherwise. I thought so at first, but look at this. Mina highlighted several areas on the hologram. The power draws are too organized, too precise. This isn't random failure. This is deliberate. Hyojin leaned closer to the displays. Her scientific training kicked in immediately. Show me the navigation anomalies. Jae-sung was already pulling up his own data. I've been noticing small errors in our position calculations. Nothing dangerous, just tiny variations that didn't match our instruments. I assumed it was normal space drift. How tiny? Hyojin asked. 0.003% deviation from expected position. The computers are correcting automatically, but it's using extra processing power. Mina nodded grimly. Which explains the increased power draw from navigation. Something is introducing errors deliberately to make our systems work harder. Dongwu felt cold certainty settle in his stomach. The maintenance teams at Kepler's Rest. They didn't upgrade anything. They sabotaged us. That's what I'm thinking, Mina agreed. But here's the interesting part. I found one of the devices they installed. She led them to a maintenance panel near the fusion reactors. Inside, attached to the power distribution network, was a small crystalline object about the size of a marble. It pulsed with soft blue light and hummed with energy. I almost missed it, Mina said. It's incredibly well hidden. But once I knew what to look for, I found 17 more throughout the ship. Can you remove them? Dongwu asked. I could. But Captain, look at this thing. Really look at it. Mina's voice carried an excitement that surprised everyone. This is alien technology. Real working, incredibly advanced alien technology. Do you know what we could learn from studying this? Hyojin understood immediately. Her eyes lit up with the same excitement. The power drain patterns. They're not random. They're tapping into zero-point energy fields. The theory exists in human science, but we've never been able to build practical applications. And the navigation errors, Jae-sung added, his own excitement growing. They're not corrupting our data randomly. They're introducing quantum encrypted positioning algorithms. I've never seen math like this before. Dongwu looked at his 3 officers, all practically vibrating with scientific enthusiasm. Are you telling me you want to study the devices that are designed to kill us? Yes, Mina said without hesitation. Captain, think about it. We could spend decades trying to develop this technology on our own, or we could reverse engineer it right now. The saboteurs just gave us the greatest gift in human history. They're trying to murder us, Dongwu pointed out. True, but they're doing it with technology that's centuries ahead of ours. We can fix the murder part and keep the technology part. Hyojin was already scanning the device with her portable instruments. The energy patterns are fascinating. This isn't just drawing power from our systems. It's converting matter directly into energy at the quantum level. The efficiency rate is incredible. Captain, Jae-sung said, studying his navigation data with new understanding. The positioning errors aren't really errors. They're corrections. This device is trying to update our navigation to use galactic standard positioning. It's more accurate than anything we have. Mina grinned. So instead of removing the sabotage devices, what if we figured out how to control them? Turn them from weapons into tools? Dongwu considered this. Every regulation said they should remove foreign devices immediately and call for rescue. But regulations were written by people who had never encountered alien technology. How long would it take? Give me 2 weeks, Mina said. Maybe 3. I'll need help from the whole engineering team. I want to study the navigation algorithms, Jae-sung added. If I can understand how they work, I might be able to improve our whole system. And I need to analyze the power conversion technology, Hyojin said. This could revolutionize human energy production. Dongwu made a decision that would change human history. Do it, but carefully. I don't want you accidentally triggering something that vaporizes the ship. Over the next few days, the ship transformed into a research laboratory. Mina's engineering team, including Taiho Jang and Sun Jae-yoon, worked around the clock to understand each sabotage device. They found devices designed to corrupt life support, disable communications, and eventually cause complete system failure. But instead of fear, the humans felt wonder. Each device was a masterpiece of engineering. The power drains used principles of physics that human scientists had only theorized about. The navigation corruptions employed mathematics that made quantum mechanics look simple. Kyung-soo Shin made the most surprising discovery of all. The communication devices weren't just disrupting ship communications. They were broadcasting, sending encrypted signals into deep space using transmission methods that Earth's best scientists couldn't detect. We're being monitored, he reported to Dongwu. Everything we do, everything we say, it's all being transmitted somewhere. But Captain, the transmission technology is incredible. They're using quantum entanglement to send signals instantly across any distance. Can you decode the transmissions? Not yet. But I'm learning. Give me time and I might be able to tap into their entire communication network. Soon-ja made another breakthrough when she realized the power-draining devices could be reversed. Instead of pulling energy from our systems, we can make them generate energy. The alien technology is more efficient than our fusion reactors. Taeho discovered that the hull-mounted devices weren't just sensors. They were programmable matter manipulators, capable of altering the ship's structure at the molecular level. We could reshape the entire hull while in flight, he reported excitedly. As the days passed, the human crew worked with focused intensity. They weren't just studying alien technology anymore. They were improving it. Human creativity and alien engineering began to merge into something entirely new. Mina stood in engineering, surrounded by holographic displays showing their modifications. The sabotage devices were still there, but now they worked for humanity instead of against it. Power generation was up 40%. Navigation accuracy had improved by orders of magnitude. Communication range had expanded beyond anything in human space. Captain, she called over the comm, I think you need to see this. We're not just fixing the sabotage anymore. We're building something that's never existed before. The Vrex had planned to strand helpless humans in space. Instead, they had given humanity the tools to leap centuries ahead in technological development. The prey was becoming the predator, and the hunters had no idea what was coming. The UES Harmony floated in space like a silver needle against the black. Captain Dongwu Kim stood on the bridge watching the lights of Kepler's rest station grow larger through the main view screen. This was it. Humanity's first real chance to join the big leagues. Station control is giving us docking clearance, said Communications Officer Kyung-soo Shin from his station. His voice carried excitement that he tried to hide. They all felt it. After 300 years of being alone in space, Humans were finally going to sit at the big table with the other species. "Take us in slow," Dongwu told his pilot. "Let's not scratch the paint on our first diplomatic mission." The Harmony was humanity's pride. Every system had been designed and built by human hands. The fusion reactors hummed with quiet power. The navigation computers calculated jumps with perfect accuracy. The hull gleamed with fresh metal that had never seen combat. It was meant to show the galaxy that humans could build beautiful things, not just weapons. Chief Engineer Mina Park watched her screens from the engineering station. All systems showed green. Power levels were steady. The ship ran like a dream. She had spent 2 years making sure every bolt and wire was perfect. This ship would not embarrass humanity. "Docking complete," announced Navigator Jae-Sung Lee. Through the viewports, they could see the strange architecture of Kepler's Rest. The station was built by a dozen different species, each adding their own style. Towers twisted like DNA strands, domes bubbled out like soap bubbles, bridges connected everything in a web that somehow worked. Science Officer Hyo-Jin Choi was already scanning the station with her sensors. "I'm reading 17 different species on the station," she reported. "Some I've never seen before in our databases." Dongwu nodded. "Remember everyone, we're here to listen and learn. The Galactic Trade Consortium has been around for thousands of years. We're the new kids asking to join their club." The crew of 47 humans had trained for 2 years for this mission. They knew the basic languages of the major species. They understood galactic law and trade customs. Most importantly, they knew how to be polite and respectful. Earth's future depended on making a good first impression. Within an hour, station representatives came aboard. The delegation was led by a tall insectoid creature that introduced itself as Maintenance Supervisor Vexmar. Its translation device spoke perfect English, though the mechanical voice made every word sound cold. "Welcome to Kepler's Rest, humans," Vexmar said. Its compound eyes reflected the bridge lights like jewels. "We have reviewed your technical specifications. Your ship requires standard maintenance protocols before proceeding to the consortium meeting." "Maintenance?" Mina asked. She had checked every system twice that morning. "Is there a problem with our ship?" "Not a problem," Vexmar replied. The way it tilted its head reminded Dongwu of a praying mantis studying prey. "Standard protocol. All ships receive maintenance before important meetings. It ensures safety and prevents unfortunate incidents." Dongwu felt a small warning in his gut but ignored it. They were guests here. Earth needed this alliance. "Of course. We appreciate the consortium's thoroughness." The maintenance teams arrived 6 hours later. Beings in environmental suits swarmed over the Harmony's hull and through its corridors. They carried tools that hummed with energy and devices that scanned everything with beams of colored light. Mina tried to follow them, but there were too many working in too many places at once. "They're very thorough," she told Dongwu over the comm. "I've never seen maintenance crews work so fast. They're checking systems I didn't even know they could access." "How long will it take?" Dongwu asked. "They say 12 hours. Maybe less if everything checks out clean." The human crew waited. Some explored the station. Others caught up on sleep. A few tried the alien food in the station's restaurants with mixed results. Medical Officer Yoonhee Nam spent her time studying the different species, fascinated by the variety of life forms. Kyung-soo made friends with a trader species called the Mollusk Consortium. They were friendly creatures that looked like walking octopi and loved to talk about their travels. "Your species is very young," one told him. "But that's not always bad. Young species see things differently. Sometimes that's useful." Meanwhile, the maintenance crews worked with mechanical precision. In the engine room, they installed tiny devices that looked like metal spiders near the fusion reactors. In the navigation room, they attached crystalline modules to the computer cores. Throughout the ship, small objects were placed in hidden corners and behind access panels. Each device was a masterpiece of alien engineering. They were designed to slowly drain power from ship systems, to corrupt navigation data with tiny errors, to introduce system failures that would cascade into complete breakdown. The humans would die slowly in deep space, and it would look like an accident caused by inferior human technology. The Vrex species had planned this sabotage for months. Humanity's application to join the consortium threatened their position as the galaxy's primary technology suppliers. If humans proved capable of building reliable starships, other species might start questioning Vrex superiority. Better to eliminate the problem before it started. Maintenance complete, Vexmar announced after 14 hours. Your ship has been upgraded to galactic standards. You should experience improved performance. Upgraded? Mina asked. She'd been watching the maintenance team's work and hadn't seen any upgrades, just lots of scanning and small installations. Standard improvements, Vexmar said. Its translation device somehow managed to sound condescending. Power efficiency enhancements, navigation accuracy improvements, communication range extensions. Your primitive systems needed adjustment. Dongwu felt that warning feeling again, stronger this time. But the maintenance supervisor's words sounded reasonable. Maybe alien technology really was that much better. We appreciate the upgrades. Thank you. The Vrex teams packed their tools and left. The Harmony's crew ran final system checks. Everything looked normal, maybe even slightly better than before. Power readings were actually more stable. Navigation showed increased precision. Communication arrays reported expanded range. Whatever they did, it worked, Mina reported to Dongwu. All systems are running smoother than when we left Earth. 2 days later, the Harmony departed Kepler's Rest for the long journey to the consortium meeting point. The ship jumped to hyperspace cleanly. The crew settled into their normal routines. Everything seemed perfect. None of them knew they were carrying enough sabotage devices to cripple a fleet. The aliens had been thorough and clever. The devices wouldn't activate for days, giving the humans time to get far from any help. When the trap finally sprung, they would be alone in the void with a dying ship. But the Vrex had made one critical error in their perfect plan. They assumed humans would react to sabotage the same way other species did. They expected panic, desperation, and eventual surrender to death. They had never met humans before. They didn't understand that humans looked at broken things and saw opportunities. They didn't know that human engineers treated problems like puzzles waiting to be solved. Most importantly, they had never seen what happened when humans got excited about new technology. The trap was set. The prey was caught, but the Vrex were about to learn that sometimes the mouse bites back. The Galactic Trade Consortium headquarters hung in space like a massive crystal flower, its 1,000 petals representing different species and their contributions to galactic civilization. Ships from across the galaxy approached through carefully controlled traffic lanes, each following protocols established over millennia. Then the Harmony arrived, and everything changed. Consortium control. This is Captain Dongwu Kim of the United Earthship Harmony, requesting immediate emergency session of the full assembly. Dongwu announced over communication channels that reached every species simultaneously. Behind his ship came something unprecedented in galactic history. The entire Vrex fleet, their vessels gleaming with impossible improvements, followed the human ship like loyal pets. Mixed among them were ships from dozens of species, all bearing the marks of human engineering enhancement. Human vessel, you are not scheduled for arrival for another 3 weeks, replied the consortium traffic controller, a being whose species had managed space traffic for 2,000 years. Explain your early arrival and your escort. We've discovered a conspiracy that threatens every spacefaring species in the galaxy, Dongwu replied calmly. We have proof, witnesses, and evidence. We also have a solution. In the Great Assembly Hall of the Consortium, representatives from 300 species gathered in emergency session. The vast chamber buzzed with translation devices working in overdrive as beings tried to understand what had happened to the human diplomatic mission. High Counselor Vexmar, the same insectoid who had supervised the maintenance at Kepler's Rest, stood at the center of the chamber. His compound eyes reflected nervous light as he watched the humans enter with confident strides. Honored representatives, Dongwu began, his voice carrying clearly through the universal translation matrix Kyung-Soo had perfected. We stand before you today not as victims, but as survivors of an attempt on our lives and witnesses to crimes against galactic civilization itself. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Vexmar's mandibles clicked nervously. 3 months ago, our ship received maintenance upgrades at Kepler's Rest Station. These upgrades were actually sophisticated sabotage devices designed to kill our crew and destroy our vessel in deep space. Dongwu gestured, and Hyojin activated holographic displays showing the sabotage devices in perfect detail. This is a serious accusation, declared Counselor Threxnall of the Crystalline Empire. Do you have proof? We have better than proof, Mina said, stepping forward. We have the devices themselves, fully analyzed and reverse-engineered. We also have evidence of similar sabotage, performed on vessels from 17 different species. Over the past century, the chamber erupted in shocked voices as species representatives realized ships from their fleets had been among the victims. The Mollusk Consortium's representative stood with obvious distress. The Silicon Fellowship's delegate began reviewing their own ship loss records with new understanding. Furthermore, Kyung-soo added, we have complete records of communications between the sabotage teams and their coordinators. The conspiracy involves systematic elimination of any species whose technology might challenge established power structures. Vexmar finally spoke, his translation device making his voice sound defensive. These are wild accusations from a primitive species that barely understands basic space travel. Their evidence is clearly fabricated. Primitive? Jae-sung asked with amusement. Would a primitive species be able to do this? The Harmony, still docked outside the station, began to demonstrate its enhanced capabilities. The ship's hull flowed like liquid metal, reshaping itself into different configurations. Energy readings that reached the station's sensors showed power outputs that exceeded anything in the consortium's databases. Or this, Mina continued. Engineering drones deployed from the Harmony and began upgrading the station itself. Within minutes, the ancient consortium headquarters was running more efficiently than it had in centuries. Lighting became clearer, air circulation improved, artificial gravity became more stable. By the ancient protocols, whispered Counselor Zarthek of the Void Walkers, they're upgrading us in real time. This is our response to sabotage, Dongwu explained to the assembly. When someone tries to break our things, we fix them and make them better. When someone tries to hurt us, we help them instead. This is what humans call problem solving. Fleet Commander Zektar of the Vrex, who had arrived with the human ship, stood up slowly. His voice carried shame and wonder in equal measure. The humans speak truth. We sabotaged their vessel with intent to kill. Instead of seeking revenge, they upgraded our entire fleet. Our ships are now more capable than they have ever been. Our crews are safer, more comfortable, and more efficient. They could have destroyed us easily, added another Vrex officer. Their technology surpasses ours in every way. Instead, they chose to help us, even after we tried to murder them. Hyojin activated new displays showing technical specifications that made alien engineers gasp. We're sharing all of our technological improvements freely with every species. Power generation systems that tap zero-point energy, navigation technology that uses quantum probability, communication systems that can translate thoughts and emotions, hull materials that can repair themselves and adapt to any environment. Why? Asked Counselor Melthar of the Aquatic Collective. Why share such valuable technology freely? Because hoarding technology leads to stagnation, Yoon-hee explained. When species compete with each other, progress slows. When species cooperate and share knowledge, progress accelerates exponentially. Every species becomes stronger. We propose the Harmony Protocol, Dongwu announced, and the chamber fell silent. A new approach to galactic civilization based on mutual improvement rather than competition. When one species develops better technology, they share it. When another species faces problems, others help solve them. When conflicts arise, we upgrade each other instead of fighting. The revolutionary concept sent shockwaves through the assembly. For millennia, galactic civilization had been based on careful balance and controlled technological development. The humans were proposing to throw out the entire system. Impossible, Vexmar protested. Uncontrolled technological sharing would lead to chaos. Species would develop weapons beyond control. Wars would become unimaginably destructive, would they? Sunja asked, activating displays showing the upgraded Rex fleet. Commander Zektar, are your crews more interested in war or cooperation after receiving our upgrades? Zektar considered the question carefully. My crews, they feel gratitude toward humans. They question the wisdom of our previous actions. Many have requested transfers to exploration duties rather than military operations. It is difficult to attack beings who have made your life better. Teho stepped forward with technical schematics. Every upgrade we've shared includes safeguards that prevent weapons development. The technology literally cannot be used to create more destructive weapons. It can only make things better, safer, more efficient. The technology itself promotes cooperation, Bora added. Species that use our improvements find it easier to work together and harder to fight each other. The debate that followed lasted 18 hours. Species after species examined the evidence, studied the technology, and questioned their own assumptions about galactic civilization. The Rex conspiracy had eliminated dozens of promising civilizations. Human cooperation had improved everyone it touched. When the final vote came, it was overwhelming. 273 species voted to adopt the Harmony Protocol. Only 27 abstained. None voted against. Vexmar found himself facing charges not just for the sabotage attempt, but for centuries of technological genocide. To his surprise, the humans spoke in his defense. Punishment serves no purpose, Dongwu explained to the tribunal. Commander Vexmar acted according to the system he believed in. Rather than punish him, we offer him the chance to help build a better system. 6 months later, Vexmar served as the first alien engineering exchange partner aboard the newly renamed ship Synthesis. His expertise in alien manufacturing techniques combined with human innovation had produced breakthroughs that benefited species throughout the galaxy. The Great Sabotage had become the Great Transformation. Ships across the galaxy now bore human modifications that made them safer, faster, and more efficient. The technology sharing network that had once been used for surveillance now carried improvements and innovations to every corner of known space. In the end, the aliens learned that humans didn't just see problems as opportunities. They saw enemies as potential friends, obstacles as chances to grow, and sabotage as the highest form of flattery. The galaxy would never be the same, and every species in it was better for the change. The human approach to galactic diplomacy had succeeded beyond anyone's wildest dreams. When faced with destruction, they had chosen construction. When offered war, they had created peace. When given sabotage, they had returned salvation. And throughout the galaxy, a new phrase entered every language. That's been human modified, meaning something had been made better than anyone thought possible.